Hello everybody, my name is Cool Blue, and I am bringing you guys yet another CasNet presents CasNet interview. That title always trips me up every single time, but it doesn't matter because we have with us this time the one, the only Toffees, and I hope I pronounced that right.
You did. You nailed it.
Yes, and Toffees, would you like to say hello to all the beautiful people out there?
Hello, all you beautiful people out there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good enough hello?
Well, no, you have to make other people feel a little bit prettier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you guys are gorgeous.
All right, moving things on since we started off on such a good note. Toffees, would you like to please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Toffees. I am. You want me to go over, all my real life stuff?
As much real life as you want to, but just like don't give social security card numbers and.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving that out. You won't get anything from me anyway. So anyway, my name's Toffees. My real name's Steve Pierce. You can follow me on Twitter. All that information's already on there at Toffees_Dota2. But no, I live a pretty simple life. I am married. I'm 31 years old. I have a baby on the way. I think we're 13 or 14 weeks in, so we have a little while till it shows up. And I work as I guess I should first say I went to school, graduated in 2005 with a degree in theater, a degree in history, and a degree in education.
Wow.
So once I got out, moved to Chicago, worked out there in the theater improv scene for a long time, and then got married, settled down, and now I live in Salem, Massachusetts, where I am the general manager for a tour company, and I work most of the time as an actor and an acting coach.
Wow. Okay. See, he mentioned before because we were talking I was like, "What do you do for work?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just general manager, some travel company." And then I asked him again. And he was like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm Batman." And I'm like, "Dude, you can't just hide the actor thing. It's a casual thing." So okay. So you're an actor. You did improv stuff. Have you ever played in any or played like a B role in anything, or have you played like an extra in any big event or big movie?
Not in particular. I've had a couple of little things, but most of the time I just end up on the cutting room floor. I do mostly live theater. That's where my specialization is. So I would say about 6 months to 7 months out of the year, I'm full-time with an acting cast that does reenactments of the witch trials and some other stuff, and do movie projects on the side.
Fancy stuff, and that actually feeds well into casting, which we'll get into soon. But for now, how did you get into video games? Because we got to go all the way back to where it started. Like, what got you into these games that we play here today?
So if you want to go back to the beginning of video games, I got into video games when I was, I believe, 6 or 7, and my dad got me an Atari for Christmas.
Wow.
So I had Atari. I remember watching my dad and my uncle play it more than I ever did. And then honestly, when I got into PC games, the first time I really got into gaming was, I don't know if you ever heard of a game called EverQuest.
Yeah, of course. Everybody has.
The original. I was in 7th grade when it came out, and I got a job during the summer working at a feedlot carrying giant bags of food for horses so that they would pay me under the table so that I could go out and buy a Voodoo graphics card so that I could play EverQuest. So I got to be on the beta because I got that graphics card, and started playing MMOs and played MMOs pretty consistently up until about 4 or 5 months ago.
Wow. What stopped you from playing MMOs? Was it just too much Dota? Presumably,
I started playing Dota, and kind of got into the Dota thing. The other problem is the older I get and the more, I don't want to say married I become, but the busier I get, it becomes hard for me to. I rated and tried to be competitive with some ranked teams, and the commitment was just incredibly difficult to do. So I also got tired of the format, and World of Warcraft stopped being entertaining a couple years ago, and nothing's come out to match it.
Oh, so hey guys, I totally did not say that. I have no rights to what this person has said, and I do not know anything about the game, so please don't kill me. Okay.
They'll agree with me. I've been playing. I literally played that game since since the first beta started. So it could just be that I played it for 8 years and just couldn't handle it anymore.
Okay, and we actually mentioned betas when the first beta started, so that actually brings us perfectly into our next question. How did you get into Dota? Because I don't want to say I saw you in the beta, because I don't think I knew you until 3 weeks ago. So
absolutely. No, actually I got into Dota because I was trying to find something to fill the void in my life that MMOs left when I walked away.
Right, of course.
And I like the idea of Dota because of the way that it's designed and the difficult process of learning it. The thing that made me good at MMOs was I would just dig into a character, break it down, figure out the mathematics behind a spellcast. And Dota is literally built for people who like that sort of thing.
No, okay.
So I fell in love with it, started watching copious amounts of pro teams and games, and just got addicted after TI3.
Oh, wow. Okay, TI3. So very recently then.
Very recently.
Okay, okay. Another question actually to bounce off that. What would you say to all the people who see Dota or any other MOBA that doesn't have that many maps and say, oh, it's just one map. How can you possibly enjoy that game? Like what will be your not offensive one-liner to them?
Well, it's funny because I said that same thing for years as my friend said, hey, come play Dota with me. And I said, well, what's the appeal to that? You know, I'm fighting my way through a new dungeon every 3 months that's completely built from the ground up for me. Why would I go to a place with one map? And I got to be honest, I think that the simplicity of the one map system allows you to focus on team play and teamwork. So it reminds me a lot more of playing of my days in high school and college when I played on sporting teams than any video game ever has before. Because the soccer field's always the same. It's the team you're going up against and the players on your side that make it a different game every time.
Oh, and geez, I totally glazed over this question. Where did you get your name from? Because you mentioned soccer.
Toffees, yeah. I am a massive Everton fan. The Everton Football Club over in England. Their nickname is the Toffees. And probably 2 years ago, had to change my name on a server I was on and made it Toffees, and it just sort of stuck. So it is what everything has been since then. Okay.
And for all those who think that Cool Blue's all soccer savvy guys, I'm not. He mentioned soccer. He mentioned earlier he got his name from soccer, so I just had to ask a question that way. So Cool Blue knows nothing about soccer. I know about American football, and I don't even know about that.
I love American football too. I just really like English soccer a lot.
Okay. Good point. Good way to transition to the next question, because you spoke of things that you like a lot, and I want to ask you, what are your favorite things about Dota?
My favorite things about Dota, I think primarily it's the community. And I know that sounds crazy. People are like, MOBA community? What? Everybody's a jerk here. You know, it's not like it is in COD, where everybody's literally out to flame. I think that Dota came up with something really cool, and that's why I sort of followed Dota and chose this one for myself, is the idea that they only get involved for one tournament a year, essentially. And they tell us, the players and the organizers, we want you to make this game whatever you want it to be. And the fact that the tournaments are open to anyone, that there's always opportunity. The caster community alone, you've probably seen.
Of course.
Everybody chats. Everybody gets to know each other. I've worked in business. I spent a couple of years running my own office and doing some sales. And that was the most competitive, like, cutthroat environment I've ever been in. And you would think that, you know, the caster community would be something close to that, but it's not. Everyone's always willing to help, and it's pretty awesome.
It is awesome indeed. The fact that you're here for this interview is awesome indeed. I kind of thought I was going to say, hey, can you do an interview? You're like, no, go away. But luckily,
no, man. I mean, I love it. I love when people reach out to me. I love talking to new players. I love talking to new casters. I really like talking to old casters, or, you know, famous casters. If you want to message me, you're more than welcome to.
Malk, Purge.
Yeah, you know, whatever. No, but I mean, it's something like it's not uncommon for me to get somebody who says, "Hey, I really want to be a caster. Will you look at a demo?" And to me, that's really cool that they would ask me that. So why would I say no?
Oh, definitely agreed. Like one of my longtime viewers, like he actually went and said he wanted to start being a caster. And he said, "Hey, Cool Blue, I want to be a caster just like you." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm over here tearing up. It's like, what, like me? Oh my god. Anyway, all right, Cool Blue's a man, guys. We got this. And speaking of man, let's go to the quick responses, because men can do things quick. Man, that's gonna be horrible for innuendos. So can you actually? I'm gonna ask you a few questions, and I want you to answer them as fast as you can. Okay?
All right.
Okay. So, what's your favorite hero?
Crystal Maiden.
What's your favorite courier?
Jade Hoof thing.
Oh, come on. Okay. What's your favorite?
Dog. I also like the Wiener Dog. I don't know his name though.
That's good enough for me. What's your favorite team?
My favorite team was EG, which I believe is now Sad Boys.
Okay, and what's your favorite event so far?
My favorite event so far is the TI, hands down. If it's not that, I freaking love Star Ladder.
Okay, and what's your favorite book?
My favorite book, Jesus, that's a. I think it's gotta be the. Oh man, I hate you so much. Ender's Game or Fahrenheit 451 are probably my favorite books of all time.
And last question, favorite color?
Favorite color is green.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's it for the quick response section. Let's move over to the next part. So,
Look, that's like asking one their favorite movie.
favorite movie?
That's a serious answer.
Okay.
Braveheart.
Braveheart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree. William Wallace is awesome in that one.
Right?
Especially that one part where, spoiler alert, he survived. Okay, moving on though. Because we've been talking about before, you're obviously here because you're a caster or you're involved in the esports community, and, well, you're a caster for Dota specifically. So, how did you get into casting? Because that's a big transition to go from player to media consumer to caster. That's a totally jump.
It's kind of a crazy, actually. I really loved the game, and I loved watching esports. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but and it's not as bad as it used to be, but there'd be these really big lulls between pro tournaments and the next one. And the only thing you could watch was these amateur semi-pro tournaments. And I started watching them, and I'm not going to say their names, and I'm not going to say which tournament it was, but I bought a ticket, and I jumped in, and I started watching the games. And the amateur casters were doing things like talking about what they had for dinner or what girl they wanted to ask out at school, and it just was really frustrating to me as a consumer because I don't need you to be an expert, but I want to focus on the esports aspects of the thing. And I realized that there was a certain, in the amateur side of things, I don't want to say a lack of professionalism, but maybe there was an opening for somebody who wanted to come in and change the game a little bit. So that's when I started to look into casting, really started doing some research, and then decided to just jump in with both feet.
Okay. And then you just come head first, do your first cast, and everybody says it's horrible, or what? What was your general response from your very first cast?
It was pretty good, actually. I got asked into... Basically what I did is I started this out, and I recommend it to any caster who's interested in starting out. Jumping into your first cast is literally the worst idea in the world. What you need to do, or I recommend you do, is you do practice casts on some replays. And then what I did is I made VODs and highlight reels out of those casts. And then I sent those to admins, and I sent those to people that I respected and said, can you give me some feedback on this? So they knew, before I even walked in the door, what I was bringing to the table. And that made it a lot more of a comfortable place to start out with admins and tournaments.
Right, and it also gives you that initial air of, okay, this guy is means business. This guy's not just going to, like, come and show up, say a few things, talk about his high school days or something. He's actually going to sit down and talk about the cast, and we know what we expect from his casting.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's a really, really good way to put yourself up front. And also, it shows moving from casting to real-life stuff, or actually, well, this is real life, but stuff that you can apply to, like, jobbing, getting more money than, I guess, you get casting. It also shows that you have a nice little initiative, or you have, what's the word I'm looking for?
It shows that you're serious about trying it out. Like, I get emails, or what I say is anybody wants to go to my Twitter and they want to tweet me and ask for a chance to cast or to work with me, I'm totally open to that. The problem is when I get one that says, hey, Toffees, can I cast with you for whatever tournament, and I say, hey, do you have a demo reel or a VOD you can send me just so I can get an idea of your style? And they go, well, I've never really done it before. And that's like, what? The fact, what? But the people who I respond to and say that, and they send me a demo immediately, they send me a link, or they say, I'll have one for you tomorrow, and you can tell that they actually started putting the work into it, then yeah, that's somebody I'm more than happy to cast with and work with. Yeah.
And, like, at the end of the day, it all goes along with what everybody says, but I'm going to give credit to Purge, because I heard it from him, too, initially. But, yeah, the best way to get started casting is to get started casting. Really.
Absolutely.
It's kind of what you got to do. You kind of just got to make that jump on your own.
Yep.
All right. So, any other thing you want to throw into that before we move on to the next parts?
I would say the only other thing I'd throw out there, if we're talking to casters or other casters or players out there who are thinking about making the move, is you have to be honest with yourself. And it was funny because I was watching I think it was Chat Wheel the other day, and Pyrion was talking, and he was doing his typical period shtick, but he made a comment about a caster's requirements of sound, and I thought it was really intuitive. And I teach actors on a regular basis, like that's what I do, coaching for actors, and I tell them all the time, you have to know what's right and what's wrong for you, and there's just some people, if you don't have the voice, it really is kind of a waste of time, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's hard to say, but it is very, very true to a certain extent.
Yeah, I can see both sides of that, because there are a few people, I'm not gonna name any names, whose voices, I think the voices are horrible, but everybody loves them. But then again, to each their own. So
True.
I don't know. I would have to say I'm on the other side of the river with that one, but we'll let it go. We'll let it go.
That's fine. I just think with the emerging pool of casters, because it's bigger than it's ever been before, it's a much harder climb than it was a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, definitely. You
So
can't just show up and like email Ghost Who Gamers and say, hey, give me a tournament, and they'll just give you one. You gotta do something.
And when we talk about voice, sometimes it's not even your voice so much as the change that comes from a good mic versus using your headset mic. Like you have to figure out how to make that sound good that people want to listen to you for an hour. So I guess it's a better way to put it is you can't really just come in with your iPod mic and hope it works out.
Oh no, not the iPod mic. Okay. Let's move on before we get started into Android versus iPhone versus whatever Windows is doing stuff. So next question I'm going to ask you is, wow, what number are we on? What events have you casted in?
So right now, I am the mainstay for the Thursday Evening Cup series for NA Dota. So every Thursday night, you can find me on twitch.tv/NeoDota casting that tournament. I do a lot of Sunday Evening Cup series for them as well.
Oh, sweet.
I currently work for the Amateur Dota 2 League, which is a awesome up-and-coming league dedicated pretty much to just giving availability to amateurs. I just signed on with SIVO. Which is starting up today, actually. The first Dota 2 matches are happening right now. But this is recording, so they happened a little while ago.
Okay.
And they're actually really cool too. They're doing a open tournament, which is open to literally anybody, and they pay out $1,000 to the winner. So that's pretty epic for some amateur teams. And then if you perform well there, you get invited to a $4,000 tournament called SIVO Main. So I'm excited about seeing. It kind of reminds me of a Star Ladder structure. But I think it's very clean. They've got some good back end stuff. And then I do a little bit of JD community, but that's only when my counterpart Gorgon is casting. I usually join in for color.
Okay.
So I haven't quite been invited to the JD community stream on my own yet, but we're working on it.
Well, I can totally get you in there. Wait, no, you said community stream. You have to talk to Capitalist. And that's weird.
Yeah.
Just me casually saying, yeah, you gotta talk to Capitalist. Like, he's like somebody you can walk up and touch. It's
right?
Weird. Man, this world we live in, guys. Okay. Next question I'm going to move into. You mentioned a few organizations like JDL, Neo Dota, and SIVO. So what organizations do you cast for, or are you just like a free agent?
Right now I work as an independent contractor. So I'm under contract with NA Dota, 82L, SIVO. I work with LOD from time to time, and that is pretty much it right now. But I'm always looking for new projects and new casts. So if you've got an organization and you want to get me, I am available.
Yes, he is available. His body and his voice are ready.
Absolutely. It is a luscious body and voice. I hope.
Big words.
Big words.
Holy crap! It's like what? That's like a double word too. If we're playing Scrabble. All right. So what do you like about casting?
I enjoy it because I think it gives a good chance to bring the community together. I like getting a bunch of people on Twitch together or in Dota TV to talk about what they're seeing. Dota is a game where I personally believe that there's no right way to do anything. Just because a hero is not in vogue doesn't mean it's not valuable. So I love being there to kind of help showcase it and also to give Dota 2 an accessibility that you don't always get. I know when I started out, I would always try to watch the front page games, but I had no clue what was going on. So I started watching casts instead and learned so much that it really helped my game kind of take the next level.
Yeah, exactly. Like those little facts that we throw in there as casters, we really throw in there because when we were watching, we probably found somebody like a Purge or somebody like a Shiva or somebody like a Toby who was giving us those little facts. that we never knew, like Dark Seer's Ion Shell doing this little .1 damage. Stuff like that. Knowledge nuggets.
Absolutely. And I think, and my mantra's always been that, you know, I know I'll never know everything. And in fact, I like to pretend that I don't know anything. And I like the idea of being able to pose questions to the community and treat a cast as a opportunity to be accessible to the pros as well as the amateurs. I think that's what makes casting great.
Okay. All right, so what do you not like about casting? Because there's a lot of things to not like sometimes. Like, oh my god, do I have to cast now? No.
You know, I like casting. I don't love when a co-caster falls through and I have to do a 7-hour marathon by myself. I think, oh my god, it was the first week I think it was the second week I did Tex, Thursday Evening Cup Series. I got on, I was so excited. I'm like, all right, we just got this started. And the deal I have with them is we don't start casting till like the round of 16 or 8, depending, so that I don't blow my voice out. But I was so excited, I was like, you know, I'm going to get on right away. Round of 32, let's do this thing. And I think I ended up casting from 8 o'clock at night until 4:30 in the morning, nonstop, because the tournament just kept going with the longest 50-minute games in history.
Dude, yeah. Okay,
that was miserable.
I feel your pain. Like, I used to be an admin for the Sunday Evening Cup Series way back when, and the first season I was there. Second season I stopped. But yeah, just as an admin, also trying to cast a few games here or there. I know what you mean. From 5 o'clock to 1 in the morning, that's typical hours.
Yeah. So it was a little rough. The thing that I mean, and I guess I should love it and hate it because there's no such thing as bad publicity, but I think it's I really hate when you've got a really good like Twitch thing going and the conversation is great in the room, and there's just this love of Twitch flaming that doesn't make sense to me. I hate it when I watch other casters, and I hate it when I'm doing it myself and someone just jumps in and starts berating someone for nothing really, and that's always kind of frustrating.
Yeah. The abuse of the Twitchers.
Well, it's not even Twitch. I think it's just the internet in general. Or it's like when you play DayZ or Rust or something. If you've got a mask of anonymity, I don't know how to say it. If you have an anonymous mask, you feel like you can get away with anything, and people often do.
Yeah, that is a true statement. Human nature, not just in video games.
Yeah,
and it applies to real life too, guys. Check yourselves. Just saying.
Before you wreck yourself, is that where you're going with that?
Yeah, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I think that's a '90s thing.
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I mean, okay, I should know.
Sorry, I was in high school.
I was in middle school. Okay.
I know. I think I may be the oldest caster out there right now.
No way. I'm pretty sure Toby got you.
No, Toby's 29.
What?
I think he might be 30. Yeah. And I'm not 31. I turned 31 in like 2 months, so we might be right on par with each other. But
Purge?
I remember somebody telling me, no way,
like
Toby's got you. So I looked it up.
Jeez. Okay. AC maybe.
He might, yeah, he could, potentially.
Total Bis is not a caster, but still. I'm pretty sure Total Bis is a caster, man. I'm just saying.
It's cool. Every time I talk to a new caster, like, oh, you're cool, you're a new caster, that's neat. How old are you? I'm like, you don't want to know, man. Let's just focus on the game. I got a wife and a baby, that's all that matters.
Say, focus on the road ahead, man. Stop asking questions, let's go.
Right.
Okay. Alright, so that actually brings us perfectly into our next thing. How has casting affected you in real life? Because you mentioned that you're married, and you're becoming more married as the days go by. You have a kid on the way. You also have work. You have acting. You have Batman.
Yeah, I don't. So far, it's not a big deal. I have the best marriage in the world because of one simple thing. Well, it's two technically. I have insomnia, which means I can't sleep often, and I don't average more than 4 hours a night. My wife, on the other hand, has a legal diagnosis. My diagnosis for insomnia is, my own. I can't figure out why I don't sleep.
Right.
My wife, however, has been diagnosed with something called hypersomnia, which means she requires twice the amount of sleep as a regular person.
Whoa.
So she's asleep every night by 8 o'clock, which means that's when I start gaming. And I have the ability to almost live this like college level gaming life, but still be married because I don't even if I wanted to hang out with my wife after 8 o'clock, out like a light.
Oh man. Well, see, now I feel bad for laughing like that. See, okay. Well, it's funny in the sense of like, hey, let's go out to. Never mind.
No, it is. It's hilarious, and we both joke about it. So it's not. I don't think it's. I mean, they diagnosed her, but I wouldn't call it a disease. I would call it a blessing for my video gaming career.
There you go, guys. If you ever want to get married and settle down and get, oh, see that. Okay. I'm not gonna make a joke. Somebody else is gonna make a joke because I'll feel horrible if I make this joke right now. But you know a joke I'm trying to make, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let's just leave the implication there. You guys can fill in the blanks. I don't want to offend people that I don't know because that would be horrible.
Right. Absolutely.
And we also want to keep this professional. You know.
Right. Other than that, though, it gives me a hobby. I love casting. I got into it because I just thought it would be fun, and so far it has been. And the side effect of it is that it's introduced me to a community that I didn't fully understand previous to getting involved with the production aspect of things.
Really? Could you elaborate a little bit more?
Well, I mean, I know that Dota's a community. I know that we all scream at each other in voice chat. I know that I don't understand the language half of my teammates are speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into kind of the casting and started talking to admins and pros and semi-pros and even amateur teams and just realized there's this whole community inside of the community of Dota that's even richer and more vibrant than I thought it was when I said I want to be a caster. Mm-hmm. So everyone's interested in talking. Everybody's actually really friendly, and that's probably been the biggest changes. It's actually my network of people that I know has just skyrocketed.
Nice. That is always a good thing to have. And yes, I do want to echo those points that you've made. I do agree. People are friendly here. And by here, I mean you'd be surprised with esports because, you know, when you're playing the game, you're in the heat of battle. You just don't give a explicit word about many people, especially on the other side. But after the game, you're just sitting back, chilling, talking about that headshot that happened or talking about that awesome play here or there. It's the weirdest thing in the world.
Exactly. I agree.
So yeah, I do agree. It's friendly here.
It is. It's nice. The water's nice. Come on in.
Yeah, join us.
Leave that other MOBA behind.
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired!
Hey, more viewers mean more jobs for casters, so shots fired all day.
Hey, it helps out esports in general. So, aside from casting and playing Dota, what else do you do for fun? So, no casting, no Dota. What else do you do?
I teach acting classes. I mean, I like what I do for a living. I get to perform as somebody else all time, and I also get to manage a tour company that revolves around riding segways all day. So I live the ultimate nerd life, I guess you could say.
So you get to travel for free, you get to act however you want, and you get to talk to people on the internet.
Yep, and then my wife and I travel internationally as often as we can.
What? What is this crazy? Okay. Well, what place have you been to?
This year we went to I went to Paris and Nice down in France. Spent about a week in London, and I hiked Machu Picchu in Peru.
Oh wow!
And then I'm going to Mexico in about 3 weeks.
And by this year, you mean these past 2 months or 3 months coming up?
Since my tourist season ended, so it would have been since November.
Okay.
So we did all of that December, January, February, and March.
But still, you've traveled further in probably a day than I've traveled in about a week.
It's true. I actually keep a little travel blog that I haven't updated since I started casting because I've been so busy. But it's we take a garden gnome with us everywhere we travel.
Ooh, travel blog. Hold on. You gotta tell me a link later, but go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, it's called thenomad.com, which garden gnome travels. Yeah, exactly. And basically, like, we were traveling, where were we? I think we were in Scotland, and it was the end of the day. We were at, like, Stonehenge, and we were just dirt tired. And I was like, I don't want to be in a picture right now. So we had this gnome with us, and we took the picture in front of Stonehenge, and then it became kind of the staple. So he literally travels around the world with us, and we just take pictures of him everywhere we go, in front of big sites. And then he writes the blog from his perspective as a gnome traveling the world.
See, I feel like I've heard about this before.
Probably not. Travelocity has the gnome thing that they do.
Yeah, that thing. Right.
So that could be it. No, I don't have very many followers. I just do it as a hobby for my family. But it started to take off a little bit because people thought it was funny to hear the gnome's perspective.
Huh. Okay, and you get to roleplay, which is what the acting is all about.
Right. So it's easy for me to write from someone else's perspective. I just think if I spent my life in a garden and then saw Peru, how would I feel about it?
It's like, I'm not comfortable with this. It's too hot here. No.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Yeah. What other games do you play? Specifically games.
Right now I play Rust to relax a little bit. I used to play DayZ, and then just stressed me out way too much. So that's pretty much Rust, Civ 5. I've played Civ since I was like 12 years old, so I can't stop playing Civ.
Yeah.
I think those are my primary go-tos right now.
Okay, and your top 3 games. Like, if you were stranded on an island and you had only 3 games and you had all the stuff to play it, what 3 games would you take, not including Dota?
Okay, I would say, do I have internet connection?
Yes, you have internet.
All right, I'd probably take Skyrim.
Wait. So the first thing I asked is, do I have internet? You take Skyrim? Really?
Well, I just have to double check because I gotta get mods. You can't get mods. Skyrim's not nearly as entertaining.
Okay, good point.
I think Skyrim's probably one of the best games ever made. So I'd probably take Skyrim. I would definitely take Civ 5, and I don't know what the other one is. I can't take Dota, so I guess I would pick maybe a World of Warcraft or an MMO where I get some social interaction while I'm out there.
Dude, come on, Angry Birds. Oh, I'm joking.
No, that kills me, man. I get so mad at that game. It's like Flappy Birds. Why?
I still have yet to see that played, and I don't want to. It looks like Temple Run plus Angry Birds, which is stupid.
It's just it's just incredibly frustrating. I don't understand why it's addicting. I've played it for about a grand total of 20 minutes and just got angry and almost broke my phone.
Nice. Okay, so you would take 2 games and then a mystery game.
Yeah, I'd take some sort of community-based game like a Dota or an MMO.
Okay. So, all right. That's a good list. Next question. Any interesting talents that you would be okay with telling the internet that you have?
I don't. I have an Irish accent. I don't think I have much beyond that.
What? You have an Irish accent? I didn't. Wait, are you using that?
Well, no. As an actor, I have an Irish accent.
Come on, do it.
Hold on. Have you got to get to sound right? So a part of my job is I play an Irishman for a good bit of time. So most of the year I play an Irish guy and get the pronunciation just right. I'm a bit out of practice. So it's not as good as it could be. But when I was perfecting the accent, I actually went to Vegas with a friend and spent the week talking like an Irishman and found a pack of Irishmen to drink with. And they were impressed. They were like, I don't think you're quite as... you maybe have an American bit to it. And I said, yeah, because it's hard to understand if you go true Irish.
See, like, the whole time you say it's like, I'm thinking about my accent, and my accent's like a Jamaican mix with everything else.
Right.
So, I don't have an accent. Let's just put it out there.
Well, and that's the thing. I grew up in Hawaii, and when I moved to the mainland, I had a Hawaiian accent, which is, I don't know if you ever heard of Pidgin English. It's a dialect. So it's hard to describe, but it's not something that people here in the States accept as a way to talk and sound educated. So I had to completely change the way that I spoke, and when I did that, I literally dropped all accents. So nobody knows where I'm from because I don't have any regional accent whatsoever.
Yeah, if I had to paint it, I would say you were from somewhere in the northern hemisphere of the world.
Exactly.
Of the planet.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I don't know where I place it.
So no, it works out. I mean, I lived in Indiana, Chicago, Boston, a little bit in California, Hawaii, touch of Florida.
Okay, nice. He's been all over the States and all over the world, and he's been everywhere. So my question to you is, do you have any shout-outs you'd like to make as we bring this to a close?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I want to throw... Well, first and foremost, I want to throw a shout-out to the 82L League, Amateur Dota 2 League. They just got started a couple seasons ago. They're actually the group that gave me my first live cast. So,
nice.
For any amateur caster out there who is trying to just get into the scene and try some things out, I definitely email them. The guys over there, Jordan, and the rest of the admin team are incredibly cool about just chatting up casters, and they want to grow the casting in the North American scene aggressively. So they're just really open to anybody, and I love that about them. So big shout out to them. Big shout out to the teams over there who are really just there because they love the game. So that was a lot of fun. And obviously a big shout out to Sivo and NA Dota, who gave me my first... I don't want to say my first semi-pro shot, I guess you could say. Brought me on board for that. And then obviously Helium, Gorgon the Wonder Cow, and Mott were probably the guys. I don't talk to Mott as much, but he actually sat down with me right when I was getting started and helped walk me through camera controls and gave me a lot of good pointers. So that was a huge impact. So he may not even remember me, but that 1 hour that I got with him was huge.
See, inspiration happens in small steps.
Yep. Oh, and I've been trying to get Zyori to take a friend request from me forever because he was the first caster I watched constantly.
Really, Zyro?
Yeah, so like when I really got addicted, like I love TI3, but when I
Mm-hmm.
got really addicted to the idea of being a caster, it
Mm-hmm.
was watching Zyori in The Last Star Ladder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, but I had some time off of work and
Mm-hmm.
he was literally casting constantly all day for like 6 to 7 hour marathons by himself, and I was like blown away that he could do it and
Mm-hmm.
still be cool, like good to go, and I thought that was awesome. Like
Alive.
literally 6 hour solo casts every day.
Right, and it's funny to say Zyro because I remember trying to contact Zyro like a year ago when I was first starting to do CasNet stuff. Back when he was transitioning from Han to Dota, and like I actually know he was transitioning from Han to Dota because he had Han videos and he was doing like the Han radio show thing.
Yeah.
And then I saw no more of that ever again, and it was weird. And now he's casting Dota. It's like, hey, aren't you that one guy?
Aren't you that one guy? Yeah. I mean, he's somebody he's made it pretty quickly. But I like his style. Take it or leave it. Those of you who are not Zyori fans.
Yeah, he does have his haters, and I have heard his haters talk before, and yeah, they're vicious sometimes, man.
Everybody's got haters. I've got haters. You've probably got haters, and they are vicious. But at the end of the day, I think the key is if a caster makes the game more accessible to people who wouldn't otherwise be interested in esports, they're doing their job, and that's all we can ask of them.
Case in point, guys. Case in point. If you ask any caster who their inspiration is, especially nowadays, you hear a lot of people say Day9 or Husky, and that's because Day9 or Husky have done a lot to make the game interesting. Like StarCraft. When I first started playing, I was like, oh, this is boring, I'm bad at this game. Then Day9 said, oh, look, you can do this. Like, what? Really?
Yep.
And yeah, so those kind of inspirations, being able to make it, like Toffee said, accessible without making it boring. It's a very difficult thing to do, and is much appreciated when you actually achieve it.
And I think that should be, or hopefully is all of our goals, is to make esports grow.
Yep. That hopefully should be all of our goals. Some people just are in it for the money, which is funny because what money?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Well, what money yet? Right now it's all up in the air because we got to make it what we want to see it. And speaking of what we want to see it, where can people see you? Like, where are some sites that people can find you at?
So you can go to my Twitch. It's twitch.tv/5MidasGaming with the number 5. That is because we have a team that sort of basically we just me and some friends decided to start a team to compete, and then I was like, hey, I'm gonna cast some games too, and they were like, that'll never work, and then apparently it did work really well. So I'm off and running, but we do have the Twitch channel. More importantly, I think the number one place to go is Twitter. If for those of you who don't, or like me, didn't use Twitter too much before I started casting, Twitter still is the standard, and unfortunately, I guess I want to say, for judging the success of a player or a caster. So a lot of tournaments look at Twitter followers before they commit to hiring someone. So you can find me there. I tweet constantly, and I try to keep updates out on the North American semi-pro scene and amateur scene as often as I can, because I think that those are programs that we need to invest in to see the North America pro scene really kind of turn into what I think it can be.
Because invest in the youth if you want to see your future grow.
And it's not even, or the 31-year-olds who are getting into gaming. Like, whatever floats your proverbial boat.
Okay, it's an come on. It's a
No, I get what you're saying.
okay, Grandpa, you can cast too.
Right? No, I just think it's taken longer for us here in the States and the North American scene to kind of like say, hey, esports could really be something. And there's a lot of amateur teams trying to break into a pretty well-established scene. And I try to get their names out as often as I can.
Yes, and that is a great point to make because it is a collective effort. At the end of the day, all the games, League of Legends, Han, Dota, Strife, whatever games you want to say as MOBAs, and even if you want to go into the other games like StarCraft, Counter-Strike, as much as we might hate each other's guts individually, we hate each other's guts metaphorically, not in real life.
Right.
But it's a whole entire scene. We're all in it together. Like when League of Legends got that announcement that they're allowing visas for people in the States, I was ecstatic because that's a great thing for esports, and that was a long time ago.
And I'll sum it up this way. I went to I went to a midnight release for a video game, and was sitting there in a line, and they hadn't closed the mall yet, with a bunch of people arguing about like what the best game was, what the best style of play was. You know, your typical video gamers, we hate each other sort of deal.
Right.
Until a jock walked by and said something about video games sucking. And then literally in one triumphant moment, every gamer forgot about their differences and berated this person. So, you know, while we are all separate and we all have our preferences, let's remember that we really want to flame the non-gamers.
Yeah. Flame the non-gamers. And by flame the non-gamers, we mean flame the non-gamers respectfully. Flame the people who would willingly flame us for no apparent
Exactly.
reason.
Don't start a flame war with a gamer you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, I've had a few of those conversations. Come on, Ocarina of Time's the greatest game in the world. I don't care too much for it. Dude, how do you not care for Ocarina of Time? Dude, chill, jeez.
Right? Ocarina of Time, I would take that too. That was a great game.
See, everybody says... Okay, but that'll be your third game.
No, I still have to stick with an MMO.
Okay.
It was so good, though. You're right. It was one of the best. I mean, I think that was hands down one of the best games I've ever played.
And see, just to preference that conversation, I was the person who says, I didn't care for it too much.
Really?
Yeah, because okay. Here's the thing. I have it on my 3DS and I'm playing it. I didn't play it until it came on 3DS because I had a Nintendo 64. I didn't buy it because I didn't want it. I played Banjo-Kazooie and that was awesome. Banjo 2 is awesome too. The third one was nah. The Lego block one. That was stupid. But anyway, I have the Ocarina of Time and I'm playing it and I can't get out of this castle because I played it, and played it, and then I stopped playing and I stopped at the part. Huh?
Is it the underwater castle?
No, it's like the very first castle in the forest where you have to like get all the green lights or the 4 colored things and you have to go fight the boss.
Okay.
And I'm stuck because I don't know where to go and I don't feel like looking up a guide because I'm too lazy. So yeah, Cool Blue, just being Cool Blue. So that's happening.
Yeah, I think it was one of the first games where I actually had to actively try to seek out answers because I could not beat things, and that really inspired me, or started me down the path of like complicated games or adult games.
So that was your gateway drug?
It probably was. Well, EverQuest was my gateway drug, but that was because I've never had a social. Like, I lived out in the country a little bit, so once school was over, it was back to my house, you know, do chores, and then that's it for interaction unless I want to talk on the phone with somebody. So I grew up in the age when we were still using DOS commands, and Windows had just come out. I think my first Windows was 95.
The dark ages.
Yeah, I mean, it was something where it was like talk on the phone to one person, or do a group call, or page your girlfriend. Literally, we had beepers. I'm dead serious. I had a girlfriend who made me learn beeper language because we were in high school, and that was the thing. Or log on and have thousands of people you could talk to that had a shared interest.
Yeah, exactly. Boom, the internet.
So for those of you who are living in the internet age, you young whippersnappers, not to say, you know, I had it hard in my day, but to say, like, it's really cool to have built communities that you can be a part of, and don't ever take that for granted.
Don't ever take that for granted, because you never know how great it was until it goes away. Like, you never know how great the Dota 2 scene is until, like, the Dota 2 scene stops being what it is. And then you're like, oh, I remember back in the days when we used to have just the beta people, and not everybody.
Yep. And you know, it's true. I mean, World of Warcraft, the MMO, in its heyday, it was probably one of the greatest places I ever played. And just as it died out, you realize, oh man, that really, I miss that. I miss 10 million players. Like literally walking down the street, you could stand on a street and yell, "I play WoW," and 3 people on the street would go, "Hey, me too."
Nowadays, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, you know, I tried the trial." And, yeah.
Yeah, everybody goes.
I like the other game better. No.
Exactly. That's true. That's so true.
It's like, why play World of Warcraft when I have Angry Birds? All right, so anyway, or Flappy Bird. Oh god. All right, so while we're here reminiscing about the old days, and by the old days I mean the days that are actually here, not old or past yet, but we'll be passing. We're gonna go ahead and cut it there. So Toffees, would you like to say the final goodbye to all the beautiful people out there?
Yeah, no, thanks, guys. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you for having me on, Cool Blue. And just get out there and support the developing scene. And you can do that by going over to Twitter and following me at Toffees_Dota2. Just throwing that out there.
This guy, the sly one. It's like, what was that? You took my belt. Oh my gosh, my age. You took my age.
I have a big sales background, you know. I got to sell it.
Yeah, you got to sell it. That's what casting's all about. So, speaking of selling things, I was going to sell this outro. So my name is Cool Blue. I was joined here by Toffees, our esteemed guest. Thank you, Toffees, for joining us. And this will be the 6th, if I'm not mistaken, the 6th CasNet interview. And this will be the conclusion of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it was informative. If you guys want to check out the links that we have in the description, they'll all be there. And we'll also find the link for that Travel Gnome blog, so we can put it there if you guys want to go follow Toffees and his gnome and gnome more they have been. And that's really it. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys whenever.